Can you please stop? So we have Satya Bansal sir also with us. Good afternoon, Satya sir. You have to unmute yourself, Satya sir.
Oh, sorry. I said good afternoon, Jai Shri Krishna, everyone.
Good afternoon. Sri Krishna. Sir, we have started our webinar for the day, and Krishna is there with us. Krishna is working with, presently working with Citibank Group at UK, London. So, Satya sir, in fact, as I have mentioned in our WhatsApp group, that our today's purpose of meeting is to basically appraise the students about the new age career opportunities. And in that regard, I have also taken various questions from them, which I have already forwarded to you all, which are basically, if you say, related to how to actually choose the careers, what are the various future challenges which are there, which you must have gone through, and of course how to actually choose them their own career depending on their own capabilities, and all these things are there. So Satya sir, I would request, and rather for that matter to all other speakers also, Vivek has also joined us in this webinar. So I would, in fact, I have already shared all those questions first, so that I can save the time. In asking, I should not basically take time asking those questions. So I would rather directly request you to, Satya sir, please first appraise us about your journey from articleship from here in Kalani company and till now for next 2-3 minutes, and then floor is yours to speak and guide to all our students.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for organizing it, and my alma mater Kalani and company, the whole group for taking this initiative. So just let me ask a question. Hindi, English or Marwadi? सब चलेगा. मैं मारवाड़ी में बोल सकती हूँ, आप बोलना जाना था.
Yes.
uh,
Only
very important.
constant is there are few firms, few participants who are from Chennai and Telugu also.
No problem. No problem. So
But not an
I,
issue. Not an
I'll start. No, the reason why I ask you simple thing is that this is my opening, I think, statement. So I passed out from Kalani and Company, and I'll come back to this Hindi, English, and Marwadi question later. Very, very important in career aspect. Uh, so I passed out from Kalani and Company in 1990 batch. Uh, Privileged to have been groomed under CL Jhanwar Saab. Okay, a very, very demanding boss as usual, but a very caring, you can say, mentor. And I learned a lot during that process. My Most of my training at that time was focused on tax and audit. And I had the privilege of getting into IDBA those days through campus recruitment, and the campus recruitment for the top 50 candidates, whatever merit list they used to have. And that's how I started. But my journey is not that straight. I'll give you a little bit of glimpse so that you can understand how the twist and turns come in your life, and they shape your decisions and career. So while many of us may think that we plan our careers well, actually it is somebody else who plans your career, as long as you are there to grab whatever comes in your way. So I started after passing out from flying colors in chartered accountancy. We said, okay, चलो रैंक आ गया, इससे ज्यादा क्या होगा. हमारे गांव में गए. And when I went to visit my village, I was touching the field of feet of elders and just taking their blessings कि आगे कर रहे हैं. तो हमारे गांव में एक दादी जी थी. बोला बेटा तू पढ़ लिख लियो, अब तो तू डीएसपी तो बन जा लो ना. For those who understand, मतलब the DSP was a big thing in those days. कि if you are DSP then you arrived. If you are a chartered accountant with rank, it doesn't matter. So I said ये DSP का पहले अपने को फंडा solve करना है. So after doing all that, I left all my campus placements and I said, let me first try to become the DSP or his boss, whatever you can. So I went into civil services and I attempted. First attempt, I was lucky to clear the prelims and the mains, and then I bunked in. I bunked in my interview. Simple reason, अंग्रेजी नहीं आती थी. Very typical problem. So I said I can write English well. I was always a top scorer in English, but बोलना नहीं आता था यार. You don't know how to speak. The translation was a problem. So that was my first failure. I got only 80 marks in my interview. I said, chalo, ye bhi ho gaya. Now, having cleared first attempt civil services, I had another 3 attempts. So everyone was saying कि अरे तुम तो कर लोगे, अभी तो कोई बड़ बात नहीं है. This is all. So finally, the destiny would have its own shape, and I decided to join IDBA, main IDBA in project finance. No experience of project finance. So my articleship and my work has got no relevance. The gap between articleship and work, again, civil services preparation, understanding political science and geography and history and all that has got no relevance. So landed in a job which I never worked. Learned project finance, and then got into debt capital market within IDBA. And then suddenly there was a NSE had come in. They started with debt capital market. If some of you would be familiar with the NSE journey, my colleagues were there in NSE setting it up. तो मैं एक दिन खाना खाने उनके साथ चला गया. See, this is how the destiny takes it. And they said, अरे यार बहुत सारे लोगों को डेट कैपिटल मार्केट में आ रहे हैं, लाइसेंस ले रहे हैं, लेकिन उनको किसी को एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, काम नहीं करना आता. तो मैंने कहा यार किसी को मेरे पास भेज देना, मैं सिखा दूंगा. And I ended up getting a job into debt capital market, NCD private placement, NCD trading, GSEC trading, interbank trading. And as destiny would have it, I had an expat colleague of mine who was actually looking at the equity market. He decided to leave India. और मेरे को उसके बैकअप में एक दिन बोला कि आप फ्लोर पे जाओ, ट्रेडिंग करो, इंस्टीट्यूशन का ट्रेडिंग हो रहा है. चलो मैंने कहा आता नहीं है सर. बोले सीख लोगे, आपको 2-3 जूनियर देते हैं, सिखा देंगे. They made me learn the equity trading desk, and that's how I got into equities. So why I'm saying is because this is how the life takes shape. I mean, we were never destined to be in the equity market, at least not in my thought process in those days. And I'm talking 95. And as the luck would have it, I had a colleague of mine who was a IIT champion, and he was like a thoda sa thinking outside of the box. And he used to always talk about technology. I'm talking about 95, 96 period, guys. Please keep in mind there was hardly any technology awareness. So he was fascinated with what I was doing, and I was fascinated by what he was doing. So we did a barter deal कि तुम मुझे टेक्नोलॉजी सिखाओ and मैं आपको स्टॉक मार्केट सिखाता हूँ. So every day, alternative day, we used to take a classes for each other. So he made me learn the whole technology gamut, the entire network, communications, satellite, TCP/IP protocols, communications, right from internet, email to everything. And I became sort of a little more knowledgeable than anybody else in those days on the technology side. Anyway, this has got destiny somewhere else, and I'll talk about it. In the 98 Asian financial crisis, we sold that business, and I became a distress asset consultant. Nowadays, this is a respectable world. Those days, it used to be BIFR consultancy. And as the destiny would have it, ICICI in 2000 was looking for somebody who understood stock market and technology. So they went around hunting somebody who understand technology and stock market. उन्होंने बोला यार मार्केट में दो पागल तो थे पहले, पर आजकल तो आते नहीं हो. एक तो ये है, एक वो है, दोनों का नाम दे दिया मार्केट में किसी ने. So my colleague Varun, who was a technical guru, he had by the time shifted to US. So they landed up me, and can you believe it that I was offered a job of a CTO, Chief Technology Officer, to build ICICI Direct, and I'm a chartered accountant, guys. So that's how my journey started. I was hired to build ICICI Direct because I had the understanding of technology and business, if whatever they were looking for. And then the history took its own shape. ICICI Direct became very, very successful project of ICICI Group, and then became my role within ICICI Group was to build businesses for that. I was never in the department. मेरे को कोई role नहीं था. Wherever they had new business to build, I was identified to take over that. And in the process, they sent me to Singapore to build international private banking for them. Before that, I had never done any private banking. I don't play golf. I don't eat. I mean, I don't drink. I don't do any of the things which requires for relationship. The so-called relationship they call it. मैंने कहा वो भी देखेंगे क्या होता है. Anyway, private banking was a different fun and experience altogether. And that's how my journey in private banking started. And way back in 2007, Barclays then hired me as one of the youngest managing director to build their business in Asia. And that's how I took charge of India business for them. At the destiny would have it, I said, बहुत काम हो गया यार, मारवाड़ी आदमी है, let me do something of my own. So 19, I decided to set up a venture capital fund of ours. And that led to setting up Blue Aswa Capital. I will not get into the journey of Blue Aswa. Maybe we'll talk separately about it. So what I'm trying to emphasize out of this, my journey is that I may say that I was wiser. I was maybe I had a little bit of hindsight to do it, but it all just happened where I had no clue what's happening with. That's the only conclusion I can share with my career journey. However, there were a couple of points that I would like to highlight. One was language came as my first barrier. And very often this is a common challenge. Many of us as chartered accountant are not the most fluent guy to speak, and at least in public. It came as a big challenge at some stage. And I realized that we have to face it. And I took it head on. I must share this experience with you because when I got rejected in civil services in my first attempt, and that too simply because of language, I said, यार ये अंग्रेजी का भूत तो निकालना पड़ेगा. Somewhere I need to take this out. And I joined some English speaking classes. And then I realized that what these guys are providing is only ability or a platform to speak. And somehow I got into training. One of my HR persons suggested कि आप training लेना चालू कर दो. So I became a voluntary trainer within my setup. And you give me any topic does not matter. As long as I get a space to speak, I was very comfortable doing it. And from the training setup, I became an international trainer. And that basically gave me a very significant amount of confidence to speak. So I had to take the challenge head on. The second challenge that I got in very clear when I was asked to build a platform like ICICI Direct. I had no clue of building a technology platform. And here our mandate was to build something overtaking Swab and E-Trade and global giants in those days. we had no clue how to start and how to make the differentiation. But again, completely inexperienced, completely novice in that area, I would say. And we had to learn right from the right from the beginning and build a differentiated thing. And there were quite a few instances that I had similar experience where I got into a role where I had no experience of that role or in the past. So your the learning curve have to very steep. You have to overcome that gap of not knowing the role, not knowing the subject. At the same time, start delivering uh, at a level which is very different. So that's how my journey has been. Uh, I think I would request if if I can take some questions, if that would help. Uh, the
Yeah,
questions are
yeah,
not colored actually, Bhupender. So I don't know how to get into this. Too many questions right now on that seat.
yeah. Not an issue, not an issue. In fact, I have thought about it.
Can you
So
can you fire
basically,
some
there
of
are
this? Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. So basically, there are few questions, and as I'm aware that to Blue Aswa Capital, you are actually into the funding of a lot of startups, particularly which are into the technologies. So what opportunities you see as chartered accountants or as a professional, finance professional, the startups or maybe the having one's own startup also, and how do one should basically have an analysis about the same. Uh, Suppose having the analysis of the idea of the startups, then how to take it forward and all that.
Okay. First and foremost, I think having a chartered accountancy, I would say qualification gives you a wider gamut to select your career from. Chartered accountant can be in their own business. You can be a very good corporate executives. The role can be very wide. So right from stock markets to risk management to business investment to managing the assurance or audit taxation, corporate finance. I think the gamut is very large. I don't think any other degree gives you that kind of a freedom to operate. So I think the gamut is fairly large, and it depends on what you would like to do. You can pick and choose whatever comes in your way. However, I have seen that not many people can plan once they are qualified chartered accountant, because they get into a role, whatever comes in natural way, either through campus placement, through their social and business references, they get into one or the other role they get in, and they may be working in a role one, they may have a desire of a role two, and that's how all of us go through in the initial days. So, few learnings that I had, and I must confess those learnings with you, is first and foremost, you may not always get your dream role. First of all, your dream role may not be the ideal role. So, there is a difference between your dream role and the ideal role that you should be seeking for. So, you may be sometimes disappointed not getting your so called dream role. Uh, and this happens 90% of the cases. One thing which really differentiate you in that situation is, can you be the best in whatever you are in, and that will distinguish you as a dependable person or a committed person or somebody that organization or the seniors can lean on. And then whatever role comes in their mind or whatever thing comes in, you can, at least you will get the privilege to be part of. That's the only thing you can do. Anything else, I would say, is all humbug that people generally claim that I decided this and this is how it happened. So there are only two things can decide your career, to be very honest. One is what I call the kind of company you keep and the kind of commitment you keep. ओके, तो हमारे शास्त्रों में बोला गया है कि आपको जो बनना है उसकी संगति करो. So, Sangati, that is the kind of company you keep. I'm talking about your professional company and your social company. The second part, which is very relevant, is the kind of commitment you keep. Now, this commitment has got multiple dimensions. Everyone says कि सर मेरे को जो रोल दिया है तो मैं तो करता ही हूँ रोल, तो क्या फर्क है? आई एम ऑलवेज डूइंग इट. मेरा 8 घंटे का जॉब है, मैं 10 घंटे काम करता हूँ. So the only definition of commitment that I have learned, are you owner of that role or are you follower of the role? If you are an owner, you don't care. You will do whatever is required to be done, whether you got the infrastructure in place, whether you got other things in place, you will still do whatever is required. If you are a follower, you will say, yes, I am ready to do everything, provided I have got A, B, C, D, E, F given to me. Okay. And I give a simple example. If you are a small shopkeeper, if your sweeper does not turn in the morning, you pick the broom and start sweeping the floor yourself. You don't consider whether that role belongs to you or not, because you are in an owner mentality. The moment you say that I am a follower mentality, this is my sweeper's job. If he comes, he will clean it. Otherwise, you will say, you will make one call here, one call there. Same thing applies in corporate roles as well. The moment you carry a owner mentality, I am the owner, it has to be done by me. Otherwise, the buck stops at me. You will have a very different level of commitment. So the definition of commitment, what I have learned is, do you own the things or do you follow the rules? This is the only difference that I have come across. So once you get noticed as a committed person, as somebody dependable, somebody with an ownership mindset, guys, let me tell you, as you progress in your career, your degree, your ranks do not define your success. Only your sense of ownership will define your success. And you will find that sometime you will find enough and more people who are much senior to you in the organization, and they're there because they are far more committed and ownership driven and trusted by the bosses than more capable people. So one thing that you will say, अरे वो तो उसको मेरे से कम आता है, उसको तो मेरे से कम capability है. So capability is definitely important, but it only, I would say, it defines your career to a limited extent. Commitment defines your career far bigger than your capability, and commitment only comes with a sense of ownership, nothing else. So अगर आप वो रोल में नहीं है जिस रोल में आपको होना चाहिए, अगर आप रोल स्विच करना चाहते हैं, the only mantra for that you be someone who can be trusted and committed with a sense of ownership, and somebody in the organization, outside the organization, will take note of you and they will give you the space to define your role the way you would ask for. So I would say there are only two types of roles in the organization you get. You get a role of a follower or you get a role of an owner. Owner means where you are outcome driven. Follower means you are input driven. So if you would like to have that sense of fulfillment, that will come only because you have got the freedom to operate, where outcome is the only definition of your success. So that's where the fulfillment comes in. That's where I think you will get your dream role, the so-called ideal role for you, where you get the freedom to operate with an outcome as an approach.
So basically, it's like just like all the three chief ministers which have been selected as of right now, probably because of their commitments towards serving the society. So that can be one of the reason.
मैं आपको मेरा एक एग्जांपल बताता हूँ. मैं आपको बड़ा क्लासिकल केस हुआ था मेरे से 93 के अंदर. मैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट आईडीबीआई में प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंस में काम कर रहा था, और एक दिन क्या हुआ कि guys, if those who don't understand Hindi, at least do you want me to speak in English only?
No, you can continue in Hindi also.
ठीक है. So I had a very unusual occasion. I was working in IDBI, and there was a big case where the big promoter came in and he had a big fight with the top management, and the fight was, this fellow was saying my dues are some, let's say 80 crore, and this fellow was saying, sir, your dues is only 60 crore. So now this cannot be difference ki somebody saying your dues are not there. That fellow was anyway not paying. But somebody saying I'm not even willing to accept your dues, it's a factual incorrection. So उस दिन क्या हुआ, मैनेजमेंट में झगड़ा हो गया उनका. they all fought and they said, "Arey, let's first set the accounts right." So my boss got this assignment to set the accounts right. और उन्होंने, मैं फ्लोर पे घूम रहा था, थोड़ा ज्यादा उछल कूद करता था, उन्होंने मेरे को पकड़ लिया शाम को, बोले आजा बेटा, तू तू सही टाइम पे आ गया अभी, और मेरे को बोला यार अकाउंट्स ठीक कर दे। तो मैं खुशी खुशी, मैंने कहा यार चलो, बॉस ने बुला के कुछ अच्छा काम दिया है, कुछ नया प्रोजेक्ट है, चलो देख लेते, मैं खुश हो गया। तो शाम को मेरे सारे दोस्त जो मेरे फ्लोर पे मेरे थे, वो आगे बोला, बेटा तेरी तो लग गई, तेरा तो गया 3 महीना, अभी अकाउंट्स करता रहा बैठ के। मैंने कहा ठीक है। और हुआ क्या कि that fellow, that company had borrowed way back in 1971 or 72, and here I was in 93, and they asked me to recast the account. And those days, by the way, there was nothing called Excel. We used to work on Lotus 123. Okay, and in any case, most of the accounts were manual. And I don't know how many of you have done the accounting for a project finance group. There is a lot of interest पे interest, commitment charges पे interest, liquidated damage, interest on liquidated damages, उसका appropriation method होता है, waterfall structure होता है। तो उसका accounts बनाने के अंदर मुझे at least I think a room full of were there, and I was supposed to reconstruct the account, और मुझे 3 महीने तक practically उसके अंदर रूम में बंद होना पड़ा। और मैं सोच रहा था कि यार कहाँ फंसा दिया मेरे को, सब लोग तो मस्ती करते हैं, और मेरे को तो इस बैठ के अकाउंट्स का काम करने के लिए मैं IDBI ज्वाइन थोड़ी किया था मैंने। See, that was the mental state of mind. But as the situation would have it, I had no option but to work on the accounts. You know what happened after 3 months? I became an expert in setting any concept on project finance accounting. I became a super champion. And in more often than not, there was enough and more dispute they used to get in, where they were not knowing the rules of the appropriation or rules of application of the funds. And I became a champion. And can you believe it? That gave me a direct access to the chairman on that case and many other cases. I used to sit in the meeting, which I had a project finance officer at my level. I had no clue what to do, how to deal with it. So that adversity led to a very different level of visibility. And then what happened? I chose my role because I knew everybody, right from executive director to the chairman and managing director at that time at my level. मैंने बोला सर मेरे को ये काम करना है, बोला हाँ चला जा, because they had seen me in the action. I bypassed even the HR process at that point in time because they had seen me in action. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that sometimes these so-called challenges comes in the form of blessings.
Correct. So basically, you the पूरी बात का सार है कि you have to be committed towards your work. You have to basically own that work instead of following someone else. Satyaji, in fact, there are 2-3 more questions which may be relevant for you also. One is regarding this artificial intelligence. आप काफी जगह प्रोजेक्ट्स को एवेल्युएट करते होंगे, स्टार्टअप्स को एवेल्युएट करते होंगे, तो ये कई बार जो एक बच्चों का भ्रम रहता है कि यार अब तो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की बात आ गई है, हमारे जॉब्स चले जाएंगे, या हमारे को जो हम अभी कर रहे हैं शायद हम वो बाद में नहीं करें, तो हाउ वी विल सर्वाइव एंड व्हाट आर द थ्रेट्स, चैलेंजेस एज वेल एज अपॉर्चुनिटीज ऑन दैट फ्रंट?
So way back in 97, there was a big debate whether the banking should be computerized or not. And there used to be massive demonstration in those days, at least in the Bharatiya context, with the computerization of banks, all these clerical jobs in the banks will go away, all the PO jobs in the bank will go away. I think the situation is no different. A lot of people have been talking about artificial intelligence the same way. First and foremost, it is a tool. It's not a destiny. I mean, please don't think this is an outcome. This is a tool. So as long as artificial intelligence is being used to do a repetitive task, or a task which can be done in a programmatic manner, I think this is going to prevail, and this is going to be more and more widely accepted. So I think we need to build the mastery over the artificial intelligence engine rather than being worried about what is happening in the artificial AI world. I don't think too much of work unit will go away, but the work unit is going to be redefined, that we are going to be more of a programmer of artificial intelligence than becoming then doing the repetitive task which artificial intelligence can do better. So as long as we understand artificial intelligence space and we can use it as a tool, I think this will be helpful. but let's not get too much worried about it. The kind of roles it will open up for someone like us is going to be very different. And I think let's look for an opportunity right now than seeing this as a threat.
या एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे है, उसके बाद then I will come to Vivek. That is reading how to start the careers, as of date into the investment banking and accountants.
Okay, I'll give you one simple formula.
Have some other courses also.
I have one simple formula to say. You asked for investment banking, somebody will ask for private banking, somebody will ask for the board of investment, somebody will ask for stock market, risk management, whatever it is. Guys, whatever you like, okay, just go and join somebody who is operating in the space. Okay, whether you join as an intern, as a junior analyst, as an analyst, does not matter. Your initial salaries, your initial roles do not define you. Okay, as I told you, there are only two things which defines you: your company, your sangat, and your commitment. Okay, so whatever role you want to be in, just be in that company of that role, irrespective of where you get it. You make a beginning, and I'm sure with your commitment you will make a mark. उस समय ये मत सोचो कि यार वहां तो मेरे को 8 लाख रुपए इनिशियल सैलरी मिली थी, वहां मेरे को 12 मिल रही थी, तो मेरे को 7 लाख रुपए दे रहा है, वहां मेरे को एवीपी मिल रहा था, तो मेरे को एनालिस्ट बोल रहा है, ये तो मेरे को इंटर्न बोल रहा है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Okay, if you are going, just be in the company of whatever role you want to be in. If you want to be the top tax guy, then just be in the company of the top tax professional, wherever you can get it, irrespective of the fact how you are being rewarded, because your initial salaries do not define you. If you are great at work, nobody will allow you to leave the job. They will retain you at every cost. In any case, you are an average, it does not matter where you start. So your company will define it. Investment banking, similar thing. There are a lot of banking firms across the cities. You join any investment banking firm at whatever role. If you don't get the role, just join as an intern for 6 months free, and you will get a role.
Correct. So thank you, Satya sir, for being with us, and we would like that you continue according to the which allows you to be here in the our webinar, and would request if you can give any further updates during the course of the that would be so
thank you.
I'm just keeping myself on. Yeah. So Vivek is there with us, and as I mentioned, also you must have reviewed his profile. So he's presently, in fact, working as consultant in the Bahrain, Middle East, and also vice chairman of Bahrain chapter of the ICI. और विवेक अभी ट्रैवल पे कुवैत गए हुए हैं, और वहीं से ही he has joined us for this particular webinar. So Vivek, जैसा मैंने ग्रुप पे बोला था, let's first spare 2-3 minutes about yourself, and then you must have gone through various questions which are being raised by the. So if something is not covered by Satya sir, that you can take, and based on your practice in Middle East, because there are some questions regarding that also, you can take those questions. Over to you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Bhupen sir, for this platform. And 2-3 मिनट तो मुझे लगता है मुझे सत्या सर का सेशन सुनने के बाद मुझे खुद को कूल डाउन होने के लिए भी चाहिए. And Satya sir, if time would have allowed, I would have asked you some questions.
Pleasure is mine, Vivek, always.
So definitely, I can see. I totally forgot for a moment that I was about to be a speaker. Rather, I was being part of all the students sitting there. So I was having the same Kalani Saturday session vibe. Ki haan, Satya sir is speaking. So we are so fortunate to listen to you. So with that, I'll just start a brief on my journey with Kalani and company. So good afternoon, guys. How are you? How's everyone?
Good.
Good. So first of all, just to give a brief, I just cleared in 2016, so I'm not that old as well. So you can still relate to me, or we'll try to be more casual, so we can connect on easier grounds. So to start with my journey, I cleared my IPCC in 2013, or I'll start from the day I came to Kalani to join as an article. I got a rank in article, say CA IPCC. So what happened exactly at the time of selection of articles? So Kalani goes through a rigorous process. I was not aware at that time कि Kalani किसी को ले लेगा. For example, a person like me also Kalani can consider, because I had that kind of mindset कि ठीक है, it's me, but Kalani is something which is beyond my expectations. I never expected to be there, even though I got a rank, but I never thought of trying to come to Kalani. But one of my friends suggested, Vivek, rank आइए, just go and try and see Kalani. If whether I think you will be a good fit there and they'll be happy to have you. I came to Kalani, KL Jawar sir was there. So I didn't have the fortune to meet CL Jawar sir, but definitely with KL Jawar sir as well, I learned a lot. So and he gave me the opportunity to come on board to Kalani. And he asked me, "Okay, you can come, but you can come from tomorrow itself." So evening 5 p.m. I just came to Kalani, and next day 9 a.m. in the morning I was in the office. So for me, a person who never dreamt of joining Kalani, so for me it was a big shift. I came there, I sat there for a couple of hours. I think most of you have gone through this. We sat there for a couple of hours, half a day, sitting in silence, because at that time, what are we being taught is the patience. So I learned patience from there. So there, from that day, from that patience, my journey started. And I spent 3 years in Kalani. उसके बाद plus and minus सबके आते हैं. So I had my plus and minus कि no, I didn't want that audit. I wanted that audit. उसमें मुझे ज़्यादा, I am involved in a long-term audit. I wanted to be involved in a short-term audit, this assignment, that assignment. But as Satya sir just mentioned, actually these things define your life story. You won't even realize ki how you have moved, how you have grown yourself by those experiences. So I completed my articleship with Kalani in 2016, और उसके बाद I was expecting a rank again in CA finals. I'm sure all the 50 students and participants here must be aiming for that, and definitely you should go for it. But obviously life had other plans. So I planned for the rank, but I didn't got any rank, not even close to 50s, nothing. So for a person who was aspiring to be something or a ranker at that time, so it was devastating. So मुझे एक बार thought आया, let's give an exam again, let's try for a rank. But so I spoke to a couple of my friends as well. They suggested, they laughed like this, and they said some words I'll not be saying on this screen. But so I didn't have good feedback. So I decided कि I wanted to have a rank. I wanted to join a certain organization, but I couldn't because my plan has been disrupted. अब मैं नहीं कर सकता. What should I do? So I was blank for 3 days. Even after clearing CA in first attempt, I didn't post anything. I didn't told anyone that I have cleared a chartered accountant. I'm a chartered accountant. It took me 3 days to digest. Yes, I'm a chartered accountant, but with a different plan that I have planned for myself. So उसके बाद I took a decision. ठीक है Vivek, now we have to make it work, whatever we have been given. So let's make it work in a way which is the beneficial thing for us. So I decided कि ठीक है, I'll do something of my own. But to do something of your own, you need funds. So सबसे पहला step, I needed to know how the funding structure works. उसके लिए I thought banking is a good option. Let's go for a banking business. And again, coming back to Satya sir's word, कि ना, you have a dream कि हाँ मुझे I want to learn this. Don't care about salaries. Don't care about anything. Just go for it. So I appeared for a couple of interviews, and out of those, one was ICICI Bank in Jaipur itself, but as a sales manager, relationship manager. So when I appeared for the interview, so the first question the interviewer asked me, you are a chartered accountant, but this is a sales profile. Do you think it's a right fit for you? So I just told them I am eager to learn how the banking structure works. And definitely, yes, this is something which I'm looking forward to learn. So I joined ICICI Bank as a relationship manager for a year. Even my clients used to tell me, Vivek ji, आप chartered accountant हो, आप you have been a ranker, but आप sales में क्या कर रहे हो? The only answer I always had, this is something which I want to learn because being a chartered accountant, I think मैंने कहीं ना कहीं I've already always underestimated myself and never tried to go out and speak to people. So this is a time where I want to learn. So though the salary was low, the job was not something which was expected out of me. I become a relationship manager. Or after a year of working there, I got an opportunity in Middle East. So I thought it's a good opportunity. Let's move to Middle East because it's in beginning of my years. I'm still 22, so it's a good experience, and I can always come back. Then I came to Middle East. You all are following me. I hope I'm not boring anyone, right?
No, no. So, in fact, now it becomes more interesting when you're talking about the Middle East. So,
Yeah, I think,
focus with
and
ये
actually,
वहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं?
and actually it became quite interesting the day I moved to Middle East. मैं यहाँ आया, then I realized that I made a career suicide. Honestly, and few of you may think you are saying this, but you are still in Middle East. How it is a career suicide? Why I was disappointed? The reason was I came to Middle East just to explore. I already have a decent job. The pay was good, everything was good, but the role was not something which I wanted to work in. So I decided कि ठीक है, I have taken a decision, but this is what life has provided me. I have to make the best out of it. उस time पे I took a decision, ठीक है, let's go for CFA as well. I'll come to that, why CFA is important, why CA is not enough, and how CFA adds value. I'll come to all those things. But I took a decision, the people I want to work with are CFA charter holders, and I want to work with them. So I took a decision. I enrolled myself for CFA just after a month of coming to Middle East. And since then, I started giving exams, preparing for the CFA, and within a year, I cleared 2 levels. Then I realized that CFA is also not something which I want to work in. For a year, 2 or 3 years, I thought it's okay, let's give the exams, but whether actually I want to be a CFA or not, because still I'm working in a region, in a field where I don't see my future. But then how things got connected, the CFA landed me into a role of risk management, which I found really interesting because I knew had I been in India at that point of time, considering my age and experience, I wouldn't have got this role of risk management, which I liked, which included statistical analysis or modeling, testing, and all these things. So I found it quite interesting. Or after doing CFA, then I realized that CFA I have done, I've got decent opportunities, I am placed well, but what is something more, what I want more? So then I realized that it's not what I want, but rather I realized there are people who actually want similar things which I wanted at a point in time in life. So that prompted me to join Bahrain chapter of ICI. It's more of a local chapter. For example, you have Jaipur branch of ICICI. In Bahrain, it's a chapter. Here, all are professional chartered accountants who are associated, and it's a strength of 50 chartered accountants in Bahrain. So we are working together for professional development and upliftment of fellow members. And I joined as a volunteer. I have taken a lot from the society. I've taken a lot from the community. It's time to give it back. I joined as a volunteer and without any expectation. However, COVID hit. And when COVID hit, then I realized, Vivek, again, you got stuck in a place. Jahan pe COVID is there, you are doing your work from home, but you cannot go. And somehow I got the opportunity to become an executive committee member of the Bahrain chapter of ICI during COVID years when everything was virtual. So I thought, okay, in virtual, how you will learn more. You will not be able to learn much, but still that year was instrumental. So second milestone in life after Kalani came this. When I joined the Bahrain chapter of I just to realize that I can contribute so much more. And other than being a chartered accountant or CFA professional, there is much more in me, which is the leadership quality which you can develop. So those days, I got involved in Bahrain chapter of ICI. I became the executive committee member. Next year, I was being promoted as a treasurer, which was the fastest growth in the Bahrain chapter. And after a break of 1 year, this year I have been appointed as the chairperson of Bahrain chapter of ICI. And things are good. God bless us. The thing is, Bahrain chapter has been there for almost 30 to 40 years. And it has been really active from last 10-15 years. And I'll be the youngest chairperson of Bahrain chapter of ICI, and that too under the age of 30. So that thing, I think, makes a difference, and it gives you a platform as well, जहाँ पे you realize कि age is not a barrier. Because most of us people, when we sit in a room, we think कि ठीक है, the other person who is other side of the screen has done so much in his life कि वहां तक पहुंचने में कितना time लगेगा. So it's not about that. It's about the commitment which Satya sir spoke about. And yes, I'll just add one more thing in my journey. So then I was involved with CFA as well. And as just now we were discussing ki how when you commit yourself to a goal or to any organization or to any work, the fellow people around you, not just chartered accountant, not just your family members, not just your office colleagues, but the other in the community realize that yes, you have a passion and you really care and you want to do something with your life. And that's how I landed up being a board member in CFA Society Bahrain. So currently I'm CFA Society Bahrain's treasurer as well. And that's how thing, and in between I became a Toastmasters and I was the District 20 audit chair for the Toastmasters District 20, which included Kuwait, Qatar and some other regions, Bahrain and 3-4 regions. So I was the audit chair for the committee as well. And these all things, why I was discussing, to tell you that yes, age is not a barrier. And when we speak about professional qualifications, how it helps, now I'll come to that. What I'll do, we have discussed about my professional journey. Now I'll discuss about other qualification, how it helped me, the work-life balance, how it adds value to keep a work-life balance, and how the professional and all these commitments allows you to have work-life balance. And definitely we'll talk about you after that in next 10-15 minutes. So yes, coming to CA and other qualification. The average age of participants in this room, I assume, is around 20 or 21, let's say. So guys, I saw some questions in the spreadsheet where we were saying we have given 5 years of our life to chartered accountancy. Is still chartered accountancy not enough? So there was never a question whether chartered accountancy is enough or not. Still, wherever I go, I say I'm proud chartered accountant. So chartered accountancy is enough. Yes, it's enough to shape you into a person you want to be. But with time, you have to learn. With time, you have to grow. So what happens with time when you go to different areas in your life and different junctures in your life? So the profession, the work, the area demands you to grow. And these other qualifications helps you to grow. Other qualifications can be CFA, which helps you if you want to go specifically into equity research, investment banking. Though chartered accountants can also do that. And I know lots of chartered accountants who are doing well in these fields without any additional degrees. But having the right qualification in addition to your current existing qualifications opens doors. But yes, traveling to the door has to be done by you. आपको इस gate से जाना पड़ेगा. There are other qualifications as well, which we can take after this session as well. आपके quantitative analysis, professional risk management, financial risk management, or actuary is there. And nowadays, I've seen people who want to move abroad are doing ACCA, CPA, and there are many other qualifications. So the qualification depends upon where you want to go in life. और इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि ना लेट्स से आप डिसाइडेड कि विवेक मुझे यार यही प्रोफेशन चुनना था बट आई वांट टू डू दिस जब तक ये नहीं मिलेगा आई विल नॉट डू दिस आई विल नॉट डू एनीथिंग आई विल जस्ट सिट आइडल इट डजंट वर्क दैट वे you have to pick and choose. If you can pick the right thing which you want, great. If you can't, pick what is available and make it right. And I'll come to another question regarding work-life balance. So how these things, see, definitely I'll give this to Middle East because in Middle East, India is the place where you want to be if you are career oriented person, definitely, no doubts. Because in next 10 years, you will see India will become a superpower and you will have every opportunity at your doorstep, which you have envisioned for. But yes, for now, if we speak about the next couple of years, Middle East provides you some leeway in terms of time management. And unlike India, because India, it's a cutthroat competition where the competition is there in Middle Eastern region as well. However, still some work-life balance is there. Rest depends on you. When I was in ICICI Bank in India, then also I was involved in a couple of things, but I was doing well. So regarding work-life balance, I think you have to keep your priorities straight. उस चीज में कि what are the unwanted elements in your life? What is the company you want to keep in your life? Then it defines your work-life balance. Let's say if you have 4 people around you who wants to go for party or who wants to celebrate for every opportunity, it's good to have such friends. But if your vision is different, then I think you need to change your company because your company defines you as well. If you have similar set of people around you who motivates you whenever you take any such commitment or role, they motivate you, then you will get the work-life balance. And work-life balance is nothing but a state of mind. If you're satisfied that you are doing right, you will do right. And Bhupen sir, before we move forward, I see a lot of questions. If students want to ask, जी जी
मेरा एक सवाल है, ये बच्चे पूछ रहे हैं कि भाई आप बहरीन चैप्टर ऑफ आईसीआई के वाइस चेयरमैन हैं, आप सीएफए सोसाइटी में भी यू आर chairman or some post you are holding over there at Bahrain, and then you are also Toastmaster and also representing an audit committee. तो बच्चे पूछ रहे हैं कि आप काम क्या करते हैं? मतलब जिससे कि आपको अर्निंग होती है.
By profession, I'm definitely a chartered accountant. First of all,
and how does these posts help you to some networking kind of thing? क्योंकि बस ये मेरे से भी यही पूछते रहते हैं कि आप तो सर हमेशा बस पढ़ाई करते हैं और कुछ करते ही नहीं हो, तो इसका फायदा क्या है? ये एक मतलब इनके जहन में एक सवाल. So you can answer this.
Okay, guys, I think you have the right person at your disposal, Bhupen sir, because he has been my mentor as well. मैंने उनको ही देख किसी का मैं पहले ही सोचता मैं भूपेन सर करते क्या है? With all due respect, sir, but only to realize कि what does Bhupen sir do is the crux of any essence, any profession, is the crux of any business. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So that will get the things done. So I'll take the question in a ladder manner. So pehle what I do, I work with the bank as a risk manager. So my day job includes being a risk manager in a bank jahan pe we look into bank's efficiency, whether the bank is I'll keep it very simple for you to understand ki bank's requirement, whether his bank is working in an optimal manner or not. कि बैंक के पास सफिशिएंट लिक्विडिटी है, बैंक के पास सफिशिएंट एसेट्स है, how the bank's decision which it takes are right decisions for the banks from strategical point of view, or is there any risk involved? Or risk can be anything. It can be a risk to the financial viability of the bank or reputational risk, any kind of risk. So we can go in these details later as separately as well. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So how risk management works, but this is my day job. And second thing, now being in all such forums, how it helps me. I started with one forum, then I realized it's good to get in another as well. So if you see, I was associated with three forums mainly: Toastmasters, CFA, and CA. All three have nothing in common. So all three have different set of audience, different set of participants. And why it helps me? Because let's say you are reading a book. So when you read a book, why you read a book? You read a book to learn something, right? And who is better teacher than the person who is experienced himself? For example, attending Satya sir's 30-minute session provided me some knowledge which I would have gained by reading a book for 2 hours. So that is what these platforms do to you. They allow you to grow, because when you speak to someone who is more experienced than you, who is more knowledgeable, who is more intellectual and more capable than you, then you realize there is a lot to learn for you, and you can grow from your then. So Bahrain chapter of ICI, let's say I'm a vice chairperson. So lately I've been traveling a lot. I have traveled to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, and with CFA as well. I have traveled to Europe as a board member for their conference. So what these platforms provided, they provided me a vision. Ki, haan, these are the things which are currently done, but these are the other things which can be done. These are the areas where I can still improve myself professionally and personally. And let's say we speak about career change. So these platforms provide you opportunity to connect with the right people who will create opportunities for you, because they have seen, yes, you are committed, you can deliver with such a time, even with such a time constraint, with all the responsibility you can deliver, and you ensure the best interest of the stakeholders. So these people who are around you create opportunities for you. And uske liye actually there's a one suggestion I would like to give all of you guys. I know what our senior members and our partners in Kalani do are the exec keys. They give us a platform to speak. So whenever you get a chance to speak, whenever you get a chance to interact with any third individual, always take the chance. Always go for it. There was an advice which my senior gave to me in Kalani once when I joined recently, initially. So I used to go to CFO of one of the organization for to ask something. वो कुछ बता दे, मैं जाता बोल विवेक ये पूछ के आना. I go to him, he tells me something, I come back and then बोलता भैया ये बताया था उन्होंने, I'll figure out इसका मतलब क्या है. So उसके बाद उन्होंने 2-3 बार भेजा, फिर he gave me a clear cut instruction, Vivek, go and ask him and don't come back till the time you understood what is being happening, which came in handy in life. So whenever you interact with anyone, if you have any doubt, if you don't know anything, be it about Middle East, about my profession, about work-life balance, if you don't still understand it, what I am doing, go for it, ask it, what harm it will do. And yes, and one more thing I would like to throw some light on. Uh, Dear guys, you all are new age chartered accountants. So when we speak about AI, artificial intelligence, just remember, don't be frightened of artificial intelligence, because lately, for many of my speech, for many of my sessions, or many of my seminars, I have used AI to write the scripts. So AI is not going to replace human or human intellect, but people with AI can remove or replace people with remove the people who don't know how to use AI. So get along with it, equip yourselves. So that is one of the key. And any other questions, Bhupin sir? I can take questions as well. I know we are running short of time.
Yeah, but I think we are waiting for Sanjay sir also. In the meantime, since Abhishek has also joined you at Bahrain, so yeah, and probably the reason is कि वहाँ पे भाई एक भाई तुम चले गए और तुम्हें लग रहा है कि 2015 में जब गए तो तुम्हें लगा कि यार यहाँ कहाँ आ गए और कोविड उसके बाद आ गया. बट 2022 में आई थिंक अभिषेक has joined you.
Yes sir.
तो मेरे दो सवाल हैं. एक तो कि एज एन इंडियन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हम बहरीन और मिडिल ईस्ट के अंदर किस तरीके से, क्या हम वहाँ का कुछ आउटसोर्सिंग का काम यहाँ कर सकते हैं, या वहाँ पे कुछ काम जो है, ये बच्चे कह रहे हैं कि यार अभिषेक को लेके तो हमें भी लेके जाओ, तो कोई ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज इनके लिए वहाँ पे आप देखते हो? और दूसरा एक सवाल मेरे जहन में है, वो ये है कि आप लोग तो कह रहे हो कि यार इंडिया के अंदर बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, इंडिया इज गोइंग टू बी सुपर पावर एंड ऑल दैट, ये जितने भी इंडियंस हैं उनसे तो सुनते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ के लोकलाइट्स क्या सोचते हैं, जो बहरीन के लोकल पर्सन है या मिडिल ईस्ट के लोकल पर्सन है, वो क्या सोचते हैं अबाउट इंडिया जो अपकमिंग decades, 2-3 decades?
जी सर. So sir, Bhupen sir, I'll start with the last question actually. कि Indian image outside India. So first of all, Indian image, definitely when people see Indians, they see someone with intellect and hardworking capabilities. So we Indians have definitely a good reputation all across the globe. So that is one thing we can be proud of. But second thing, this is, and as a chartered accountant, when we say we are a chartered accountant, people who have worked with a chartered accountant are really happy when they see another chartered accountant working with them. And I'm talking about the localites. Even in our head in our department, the bank I work in is a local person, is an Arabic guy. So he really respects chartered accountants and he comes to our seminars as well. And he's definitely, I'll give some of my credit for and allowing me to keep work-life balance to him as well, because he pushes me, Vivek, yes, you are doing the right thing, or you chartered accountants as a profession body has done a lot for the community. अभी मैं जो सुबह सेमिनार अटेंड कर रहा था, एक्चुअली सुरेश प्रभु सर इज देयर, so he's with us in Kuwait here. So he talked about collective goodness, and he rightly mentioned that wherever we as a chartered accountants go, we look for the local community development as well. So definitely chartered accountants are welcome all across the globe. And the thing is how to get the right opportunity. Right opportunities, they are different platforms. You can use online platforms, job portals, or LinkedIn definitely is a good enabler. But the key, if you want to know, is to know the right person. As I said, and काफी cliche statement है, and you must have heard it somewhere. Your network is your net worth. I never used to believe it until 3 years back. When I joined these forums, then I realized, yes, definitely. It's not that you want to utilize it for your benefit, but once you get to know such people, it opens so many doors, not just for you, but for your fellow chartered accountants. And Bhupen sir, not just Abhishek, for example, Karthik Khandelwal from our batch only. He is also currently in Bahrain. Anuj Naval, he was with me, so he was in Bahrain for some time. और उसके अलावा भी कई लोग हैं जो who are working in the region. So yes, it opens the door, and just the key is to get the right opportunity. And the firms I have worked with, they look for chartered accountants who qualified from Kalani and company. वो बोलते हैं कि ना विवेक, और some I'll not name people, but yes, some placements have been done. मैंने उनको ये बोला, these people have worked from the same organization where I have worked, so they qualified from Kalani and company, and they just got the placements just because of that. So that is the kind of reputation we have. और उसके अलावा थर्ड क्वेश्चन भूपेन सर रिगार्डिंग अभिषेक, आई थिंक यू विल टेक ऑल द ट्रेड सीक्रेट्स यहाँ पे. So after coming to Bahrain, I realized that there's a good opportunity for the people who can deliver quality. But since my hands were tied, I thought I'll do as much as I can. And Abhishek qualified his chartered accountancy in 2019. He was doing his practice. Uska bhi I think it might be a common question for all of you. So Abhishek asked me a basic question ki, Vivek, I want to start my career. So should I go for practice or should I go for a job? And given our circumstances, So we discussed it in detail, not just in couple of minutes, but we had a discussion. Our outcome was, see where do you stand. You have to assess 2 or 3 parameters. What is your financial position? If your financial position allows you to work extremely for another year or another 2 years without having a fixed stream of income, then definitely go for your own business if you are willing to. Second thing, let's say if you want to go for your own business, but you don't have a fixed financial stream of income, then what you can do, you can start doing a job and parallelly you can start accumulating capital as well, or you can start connecting with the right people who will allow you to set up a business which you want. And the third option is the job option, which people want to make a career in it. So that is also a good option. In our case, since I was already in the job and Abhishek had a dream, he wanted to go for his own consultancy and he wanted to create a firm and an entity of his own. So at that time, we had a discussion and Abhishek mentioned that I want to go for it, but I'm thinking to do the job. Then we had a discussion. I told him, Abhishek, the thing is with job, there's just a bit of catch. If you start with the job with a fixed stream of income, it becomes a bit difficult to leave that. You will come around, you will start your job, definitely you'll start your own business, but it may take extended period of time, which you will have to survive through. So that is the case. And Abhishek currently he's in Bahrain and he's doing well and he's expanding his business and good. And definitely not just Abhishek, all of you are like my friends, brothers, sister. So any of you wants any opportunity, not just in Bahrain, but in any part of the Middle East, I'll do the best I can. And not just Middle East, but across other countries as well. Wherever I can recommend, I'll definitely do the best I can. Just one more thing. But yes, after clearing your articles, work for a year in India because in India there is no place like India where you learn a lot. Because the sheer kind of work pressure definitely which is currently in India, it teaches you a lot. It polishes you. So Bhupen sir, I hope मैंने answer दिया इन 3 क्वेश्चन के.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek. Uh, so till we are waiting for Sanjay sir, we have Krishnan with us.
Yes, please.
Really from UK. So he was here in Jaipur only for a couple of weeks. So just Krishna to please tell about your journey and then the advice which you about their career planning.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks to Satya and thanks to Vivek. I think we've had 2 engaging sessions. So the pressure is on me to tell you something which you haven't heard so far. I think I'll not repeat both journey. Bombay, Morgan Stanley, Hong Kong, Barclays, and then City, London. That basically is the one-line journey. Go into LinkedIn and then find out there more. Now, these questions which you guys have collated and sent to me, what I've done is I have find out 6 key themes. Travel is for these questions, and then probably briefly I'll touch upon 6 things. So the first thing which most of the people are interested to know is opportunities, where the opportunities exist for chartered accountants. Now, if I were to tell you that okay, you can do a job, I'll be fooling around myself. That okay, tell me something new. I know. Now there is a way, there is a framework to look, as in where opportunities are coming up, the new opportunities. Now, the framework I use is the new opportunities for chartered accountants are created in 3 ways. One is the growing scale of the economy. Knows that news headlines that India is a 4 trillion economy. Prime Minister is saying that we're going to be 5 trillion economy in next few years, and then the target is. Now, have you ever thought that what kind of a scale we are adding every year? I mean, if 4 trillion economy, we are growing 10% nominal, then we're adding $400 billion of. That's a huge amount of growth, incremental growth. China $600 billion growth every year, and that created huge amount of opportunities. So one opportunity for you guys is that of auditing, you are the expert income tax, corporate law, compliance, and everything else. You don't just need to think that whether the opportunities will not, the plain vanilla scale opportunities will always be there. Be a need for more chartered accountants. That's probably the easy part. Now the second part is opportunities which are coming. Now, when I say economic upgradation, what do I mean? Now, if you go back and say from Satya's time, what were our jobs? I mean, you can join IDBI, you can become a project finance officer, you can become a bank officer, you can do your own practice, and these are the opportunities. But it's upgrading, right? India as a country is upgrading in terms of their, from where the incremental GDP growth is coming. Now, there are new areas of businesses which are coming up. Now, few of the areas, if I were to list, which are categorized into that economic scenario, is essentially we are globalizing, right? We are not business with India, not doing the business within India. We are doing the business with all part 180 countries in the world. So there is a kind of a globalization. And if you read all these accounting standards and everything else, they will tell you that transfer pricing and all these kind of opportunities are there. So when you talk about globalizing, there is a new set of opportunities which comes for the chartered accountant, new area. You just don't need to know the Indian accounting standard. You also need to know the international as well, and you sort of need to cultivate your niche into that. So that is one that thing. So you just don't need to be an Indian chartered accountant catering to an Indian accounting opportunities. You need to think globally and then accordingly plan your. The second opportunity is basically investing. I remember doing the presentation on mutual funds like 16 years back.
Krishnan, I think we have Sanjay sir also with us. Since you are actually available with
Stephanie.
So, since you have finished your first point, I would request to put the second one later because I think Sanjay sir is also traveling out of Jaipur today. So, we have Sanjay Jhamarji with us, who is senior advocate. So, I'm sure Sanjay, you must be listening us.
Yeah, I'm able to hear. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm able to hear.
Yeah. Sanjay, as I asked in the group also, that first let us know about your journey from Kalani and Company for next 3 to 5 minutes, and then various questions have been plotted. So if you go through that, guide the students on the same. If you feel anything need to be asked from our side, we will ask those questions which need to be addressed.
Thank you, Bhupendra, and it is really a pleasure to talk to the students and share some journey at Kalani and Company and thereafter. Are you able to hear me? Bhupendra, I think you are able to hear me.
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
All right. So, see, I passed as a chartered accountant in the year 1991, and during my training, my boss was my father, CL Jhamar sir, and I was a very disciplined student. Thereafter, I started with my journey of chartered accountancy by practicing on two sides. One, audit of national banks and some large Navratna companies. And second, practicing on income tax raid consultation, search, survey, marriage survey, searches, all these consultation I started. And the third thing which I started was income tax tribunal practice. So these three things I started. And in first 11 years of my journey, I did all the three things. And I was appearing in number of cases in income tax tribunal. I handled about 40 search matters independently during that period. I audited several banks and financial institutions and Hindustan Zinc and IUB, SBI, Punjab National Bank. After all that, I realized that I must first reassess myself. I'm good at what? There are several things I'm doing. Whether I'm good at one particular skill, I'm good at other skill. I should identify my skill sets, because there is no uniform formula that this practice is good or that practice is good. You have to first ascertain your own USP and then check you are good for what. So I ascertained my USP that number one, I'm good at arguing the matters in courts, that I realized. And second, I felt that I can handle those things. I can do some advisory where a 360-degree view is expected by the client. Client wants that if you advise me one thing, then that thing should stand good on all fronts, from management aspect, from accounting aspect, from tax aspect, from regulatory aspect, and from a futuristic aspect. So realizing this, I stepped into legal practice. I surrendered my certificate of practice as chartered accountant in 2002 and became a lawyer, started practicing as a lawyer. In lawyer, I started both arguing before the courts, before High Court as well as Supreme Court, because I thought that if I like arguing and I know my USP is arguing well, then I must argue up to the highest level. So I started arguing up to Supreme Court. And simultaneously, I started consulting practice where the clients or businessmen would come to me and would like to take an advice in respect of business issues, in respect of the issues where legal issue is not the only relevant factor, but there are management aspects of that business issue. So all those things I started. And now today I have a law firm, Chair Amrit Legal LLP, which does both the kind of practices. Very recently, before 2 years, Honorable High Court was kind enough to shower the gown on me, and they bestowed the gown of senior advocate on me. So now I'm practicing as a senior counsel also. So that is the brief about my journey.
Yeah. So Sanjay sir, I think going through the various questions which are being uh, given by the students, or should I actually ask?
You can ask whatever important questions are there. You can actually ask.
Yeah. So since presently you are into the legal side as well as into the consulting. So one question is that how does this legal practice and how these new generation students, these guys can actually do the practice, and what cares they should take while entering into this profession?
I'm sure many students who would feel that they are good at communication. I'm talking of both the communication, which is written communication and oral communication. And I'm also talking of the uh, receiving communication and understanding them and making communication. If people feel that they are very good at communication skills, they are good in interpretation, they are good in conveying what they want to say, and they take lesser time than others to choose proper language, proper description, proper words to convey what they want to convey, then legal practice is one area which they should definitely think of. They should definitely explore. They should definitely consider. Because what is required in legal practice, if a chartered accountant or a person who has CA background becomes a lawyer, the added advantage with him is that apart from the drafting skills or the arguing skills, what he has is the understanding of commercial substance of the matter. And next 10 or 20 years in our country are going to be the best years for commercial law, because there's a lot of change in the commercial law in past few years, and there we are expecting a lot of changes in next few years. A person who understands the law and simultaneously understands the substance of commercial matters, he can understand the figures, he can understand the balance sheet. I don't think there can be a better lawyer than him. So he'll have both the tools, understanding the substance of the matter, and at the same time conveying to the authorities of the court of law as to what is the point which is involved in this matter. So I think he will have the edge over other lawyers in the times to come.
Yeah, in fact, one question is regarding that you have done from Colombia, US.
Yes.
So,
yes.
what is the relevance of that scenario? Whether you want to develop some global practice or on that, if you can enlighten us.
See, I think all students know that international law is a treaty-based law. National law is always a law which is enacted in respective parliaments of different countries. But international law, there is no international parliament. It is a treaty-based law. And there are more than 70 treaties between different countries. Tax treaty is just one of them. There is a sale of goods treaty. Then there is an immigration treaty. Then there is a criminal law related treaty. There are several treaties. So if somebody wants to practice on international law or wherever the transactions are such that one leg of the transaction is in one country and another leg of the transaction is in another jurisdiction, then before knowing the country law, one needs to know what is the international law on that or what is the treaty on that between the countries. Because the treaty sometimes overrides the law. And in that case, it doesn't make any difference if the treaty is overriding the law and you know the treaty and you have studied the treaty and you have done that course, which I have done from Columbia University, one of the best universities in law to offer this kind of course globally, which is known as one of the Ivy League universities. So if one masters the treaties, then perhaps for advising a client on international matters, the first person to whom a client would like to go is a lawyer who is expert in global business laws. Because only he will tell what is the provision in the treaty, and if the treaty does not override, then the law of which country would apply in a particular circumstance. Therefore, the purpose of doing this course from Columbia University was that I was having a lot of international clients where the conflict was that in which country we should go or which law would apply. So therefore, before going to the national lawyers, they would like to go to the international lawyers to ascertain as to which law would apply and where should we go. So that tempted me to do that course, and that has really helped me in serving my clients wherever there are international transactions.
Yeah. Regarding, you told us about the communication skills, or particularly the writing skills. If one is good at, then he can be actually into the legal profession where they can make their good submissions as well as as a good arguer. So here comes the point to these artificial intelligence apps like ChatGPT or other things. So their threat is that when good writing is being provided by the ChatGPT itself, whether there will be relevance of this with the student pursuits or these professional pursuits.
I would say that somebody who is doing repetitive work, for him, uh, maybe chat gpt or these kind of artificial intelligence tools may help to a substantial extent. There also, it would not help completely. They have still to apply their mind. But wherever somebody is doing kind of legal practice or litigation practice where every case would have unique set of facts and application of law would be different, the artificial intelligence tools would help only in fast processing of the matter. But beyond that, completely depending upon artificial this AI softwares would not be possible in litigation practice. I think if you know about the data, the market size, and I should not say it here, uh, but the market data which is there in the says that there are practices where there is a repetitive element. And in chartered accountancy, one of the speakers, I think the council member at one of the forums spoke, there's a lot of work in chartered accountancy practice which is repetitive and where one has to very carefully select the career option because their large part of their work would be either taken over by AI or AI would be very helpful for doing their work, and therefore their time would be substantial, professional time would be saved, and there will be many things which will be done through machines. However, in legal profession, you will find contract drafting can be through AI. It has to be fine-tuned by the lawyers. But when it comes to litigation practice or when it comes to advisory practice, something which is there in advisory domain or litigation domain, you will find that 90% of those things are unique in their facts and application of law. Therefore, AI can only help in doing clerical support work, but it will not take over the lawyer's own work. The law clerk's work may go away, but the lawyer's work would sustain and would rather lawyers would become more efficient if they have support of the AI. So there is no threat of AI to the law profession. The research revealed that the size of legal services market in next 10 years, particularly in the countries like India, is growing manifold, and therefore there is a dearth of lawyers, particularly the lawyers who will be practicing in commercial branches and white collar crimes and regulatory matters. So these would be several lawyers would be required, and whosoever finds himself to be efficient in their uh, legal skills, writing and understanding and interpretation and lawyering or advocating, they should definitely consider this as one good career option.
Yeah, one question is basically I was practicing with you as a chartered accountant when you were at Kalani and Company. You wrote a book, Project to the Block Assessment, and I also little bit contributed to that book at that time. So what they are asking is that what leads you to work this book, but my question is that uh, does it really give any writing such books, uh, writing articles, does it give any a professional edge to chartered accountants or lawyers when you keep on doing such activities?
Bhupendra, you would recall that I was appointed as chief editor of Tax World, a
Yes,
monthly
yes.
journal published by Rajasthan Tax Consultants Association, and that uh, developed this interest of writing in me. And uh, in apart from writing technical literature on technical subjects and papers in seminars and conferences, that position of chief editorship really helped me in uh, uh, nurturing my literary flavor and writing out of the box and writing beyond the technical subjects. And every month I used to write an editorial picking up a different topic. I wrote in all 48 editorials in 4 years because I was chief editor for 4 years. And I still remember people used to send messages to me and used to await for the next editorial because sometimes I would write a quiz, sometimes I would write a story, sometimes I would write how language is important, how language is a vehicle of thought. Sometimes I would write a poem, sometimes I would write this thing and that thing. So every month I used to think, what should I write next? So it made me a little more creative to think out of the box beyond the technical subject and use my writing flavors and then please and appease all my readers and all my audience. So that really helped me. That period of 96 to 2000 really helped me in understanding, firstly, because I was chief editor, so I was analyzing a lot of judgments. I was doing a lot of editing work. I was researching on certain things. There was a question answer column in the monthly magazine, so I was answering several questions. Then I was trying to meet deadlines because it was a monthly publication. So I learned several things, how to do all these things on time. And that really added to my interest in legal profession, all reading, writing, research. And it not really helped that in the legal profession also, that particular tenure of chief editorship is really helping even till now.
Yeah. एक सवाल generally जो chartered accountancy में students हैं and as and when they pass, they actually 90% of them join the some job, particularly because of the high package which they receive. But at the same time, uh, all these skills, whether it is writing skills or the communication skills, because they work over there for 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day, or so. How do they should find time for developing these skills also? So I find that here when they are into articleship, probably they get the sufficient time for all these activities. We also keep on organizing such webinars where they make their presentations and all that. But later on, so what is your advice to them regarding this?
I get the question, Bhupendra. Firstly, Bhupendra, I like to make 2 points here. Firstly, I would like to suggest that the people who go in jobs only for the package, only by considering package, should definitely recall their chartered accountancy course, which talks about valuation of tangibles as well as intangible. Like assets are tangibles and intangible, the remuneration is also received in tangible and intangible form both. So when they are going into jobs, they should definitely consider, are they getting only tangibles in their monthly emoluments, or they are also getting an opportunity to become leader. They are getting the opportunity to learn more, whether they are learning, are being exploited by the organization, or they are being made to learn more, or they are being given different kind of learning, or there is an addition to the learning. So they should consider this while selecting their jobs. And the people who think that they are more creative, they are not good at doing the standard work. They get bored. Their boring point is low. When they do repetitive work, they should rather opt for practice or doing such thing where there is more room of kind of thinking out of the box. Because in a larger organization like a bank or an industry, there are set norms and SOPs, and one has to follow that for a standardization until one reaches to a managerial level where one has to deal with the exceptions. In practice, day in and day out, one has to deal with exceptions. So he gets, even in the work at the work desk itself, he gets time to do some creative things. So I would suggest that people who have more creative hunt, they should go for practice. But people who are going in job for some other reasons still look for some creative time at their work desk itself. They should make smaller groups or some kind of group discussion at least on weekly basis, maybe related to their particular job or related to economic development or in the world, or maybe some other topic. If they are involving in some kind of group discussion and continuing that in the same way in which you are doing on every Saturday, suppose they also make a small study group at their workplace and carry on a small study circle meeting on Saturday morning. I don't think there is any employer in the world who would say that I don't like this, because it eventually gives a positive impact on the work also. It makes a positive impact on the mindset. It makes a positive impact on the mental health of a person. And therefore, employers, most of the good employers these days like, and they rather carry out works for the mental health of their employees instead of tasking them for 16 hours a day. They like that their employees should do at least some activity on a weekly basis which keeps their mental health good. So if they takes this initiative, become leader of carrying out a group discussion on any topic, maybe I'm not saying on CA topics, I'm saying any topic. Any topic means, suppose they think whether what are the factors by which oil prices worldwide go up, what are the factors by which oil prices go down, or let's say whether US dollar is likely to be stronger despite inflation. What are your views? So if you discuss these kind of things, then people would think out of the box beyond even the CS syllabus and would be more creative, which would help themselves, which will help their employer, and which will definitely help their mental health, because it will break the monotony.
Yeah, I think so. Basically, focus should also be there whether any intent addition is also there to you or not. So
Yes.
Yes. So Sanjay, any other advice? Because now I'm going to listen further deliberations.
I think I have almost covered, but just the last piece of advice to all students would be that don't take too much stress. CA is not the last thing in world. You are a person first of all, then a professional at the second, and then CA at the third stage. So try to be a good person. Try to open up all your faculties. Try to nurture your passion, your skill sets, and your interest and hobbies and everything, and try to become a 100% person, a complete man, rather than focusing on just a technical professional aspect. That is all. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you so much, Sanjay Bhaiya, to be with us. We are sure that as and when we call you, you will be there with us for guiding us on any other day also.
Certainly, I was supposed to be there today also, but there was a family succession plan, family board meeting at Agra at one of my clients' place, where all the family members have gathered together to hear on how the family business should grow, how they should cope up with their conflict of interest within and outside family. So I was addressing everyone in the family here, so I had to physically come here at Agra. Thank you very much for accommodating me on VC. Thank you.
Yeah. So now.
So we are back. I think the upside of.
I think थोड़ा बहुत अगर हम नहीं सुन पाए तो you can again go through
the upside of speaking 3 times is that there will be more remembrance. So where we were, so the opportunities first is scale, and then economic upgrade. The third opportunity, which is technology. I mean, I'm going to cover this technology in a little bit detail, but everyone has this focus that, okay, technology is it a threat or not? But yes, technology on a net basis is an opportunity. It has created huge amount of economic value, jobs. So the first question or set of the question was like where the opportunities are. I'm not answering it in terms of, okay, you have the opportunity sector. I'm just giving you a framework that opportunities will come from these three areas. Now it is up to you to apply your framework that fit into this, or where I don't want to fit into this. Do I want to do the odd jobs of traditional chartered accountant, or I want to participate in that economic upgrade, or I want to participate in that technology-driven opportunities which could come my way. Probably is the most important one is that what are the skills which we should have? Is it the chartered accountant skill enough for us, or do we have actually helps us to excel versus the competition? So, I mean, see, the first thing which is important is that being chartered accountant is being a blessing because that the course actually trains you to be, analytical. No, it's a rigorous course. None of the other courses have this kind of a rigor in terms of training the students. When I to make a kind of a good remembrance for the people is that a combination of ICAI plus your study, it actually helps you to become a chartered accountant. When you add chartered accountant plus Kalani and Company, it becomes a kind of a very refined product which sets you in the top 5% of the chartered accountant in the country. Now, is that enough? Probably no, because you need to be in that top 1%. Now, I use an analogy that, okay, chartered accountant coming out of a company is equivalent to the mythological character of Ram, if I can use that. I mean, Ram was, okay, the person who follows the law with a good heart, good king, a warrior. Everything was good about him. The chartered accountant is sort of similar to people who follows the law, knows the law, helps the people, helps the society. Kind of a good thing. Now, if you are already at that stage, being a respected person in the society, is that enough? Probably not, because the world outside is a competitive world. Now, I use this analogy of O and the U. Now, remember these words, O and the U. These are important. O here stands for over excel, and U stands for under excel. Now, if you add the O to Ram, it becomes Remo. Everyone knows Remo, who is Remo, be it Remo Fernandez, who's the best singer in the.
There is one dancer also.
Yes. These are the two jewels of the respective field, right? Now, if you add U, everyone knows who stands for in the Bollywood. I use this analogy in the Indian context because people understand it. It's very easy to remember. Now, what is O and what is U?
Two vowels out of 5.
So O. Now, O here is that if you do a chartered accountant, grade yourself in terms of skill, over excel, that probably will help you to go into the league of that Remo, because Remo stands for excellence into their own field. There's only one Remo who has done, who was probably for him, Rao is probably while Ram Kaka, everyone they do the odd job. They are good people, but they do the odd job. They don't participate at a great version of what we're talking about. So this framework you need to keep in mind. We need to over excel by constantly adding to the skill set rather than just being dependent on chartered accountant. Or if you don't do just being dependent on the plain chartered accountancy, you run a risk of adding a U to your run. So now it's up to you how you want to see yourself. You want to see yourself as a Remo or the run. Now the framework as in over excel. Now how do we over excel? What are those key skills which we need to have in our mind? Now technical skills. Now there are several courses you can do. I categorize the technical skills. The one thing chartered accountants, especially the Indian chartered accountants, are good at is being the analytical skills. I mean, I have lived through the world, and believe me, there is no parallel compared to Indian chartered accountant in terms of their analytical skills. They can do the mental math like anything, while people will still be doing the mental math like this. Their view of the world in terms of auditing is fantastic, and hence these people are very well respected. Now, the thing is, you are good analytical, you are good in terms of you can add technical skills. There are three sort of intangible skills which you need to cultivate or you should cultivate. Now, first is attention to detail. Now, this is one of the, if you are practicing chartered accountant or if you are into job, attention to detail will help you immensely because that is going to earn you respect. Satya was mentioning that you need to cultivate yourself to be a dependable person. If you are paying attention to detail, that probably will help you to stand out. Now, the two things where chartered accountants generally are lacking, obviously Satya mentioned that communication, Sanjay also mentioned communication is one. It's well known, and there is no yardstick as in who is a good communicator, who is not. It is an individual choice, and how do you prove yourself in terms of communication? The two skills which I always emphasize is that big picture thinking, and then storytelling. Now, what is that big picture thinking? Any idea? So let me give an example. There is a huge amount of talk in India in terms of building the roads and the ports and the highways. What does it all mean? What does it when you think about it in a big picture point of view, from an economy point of view? What does it tell you? Infrastructure. Infrastructure. Now, what is the importance of infrastructure? Ease of doing business. Now, if you were to quantify it in terms of economic, how do you look at it? GDP. GDP grows. Investment. One of the under research aspect of this big picture thinking in terms of this example of infrastructure is that globally, if you were to think the most competitive nations, be it Korea, be it China, be it Japan, be it US, these are the export powerhouses of the world, right? Their logistic costs have increased between 7 to 8%. India is so underinvested that the logistic cost of GDP is close to 13 to 14% because we haven't been building for these infrastructure. Nobody has thought about. So at the policy level, there is a big picture thinking that we need to do all these infrastructure things because we need to be competitive if you want to grow higher. So if you're talking to someone and someone is talking, okay, infrastructure is building upon, if you add a perspective that okay, the eventual outcome for economy from this infrastructure building is basically lowering the logistic cost as a percentage of GDP so that we get more competitive in the export market. That basically is the big picture thinking. Now, how many of the people here would relate that reservation in the jobs in India is a problem? Everyone. Now, what is the big picture aspect of it? Is this really a problem? I mean, there is a perspective I can add to it. Approximately in India, there are 1.5 crore jobs with the state government, central government, railways, army, and all things. Reservation caters to these jobs, right? If you assume, okay, 10% of the people are retiring every year, there are 15 lakh people. Now, 15 lakh jobs are being created into these. All the people in India, like 2 crore jobs every year, they are fighting for this 15 lakh. Is India going to grow because these 15 lakh jobs are being filled? No, India is going to grow because we need to create the 2 crore jobs every year. Now, the big picture thinking or the micro picture thinking will tell you that reservation is a big problem. It might be a sideshow because of the political reason, but if you think the big picture that India will have to grow or the opportunities in India are being created are immense because of the 400 billion GDP addition every year, there's a huge amount of potential. So you don't need to side track yourself because reservation is a problem. My career is being bogged down by all these political talks. Right? And I'll give you another example. There's a huge amount of effort for political messaging in India in terms of women being the powerhouse of women empowerment. What is the big picture aspect of this women empowerment? If you think from an economic point of view, what is teaching their skills? Yeah. The big picture aspect is that in any of the developed economy which has excelled, the participation of women in the labor force is almost as good as in men, while in India it is the lowest. So if India were to go on a growth trajectory in the next 10, 15, 20, 50 years, the women will have to come out of the shackles of doing the household jobs, and they need to be as mainstream as the men are. So that is the big picture aspect. Now, technology. Like everybody was talking about artificial intelligence. it gives me a sense that okay, everybody has anxiety that oh, AI is coming. And I will give you a big picture aspect of AI, how this is going to be beneficial. So the first industrial revolution happened when the steam engine was introduced, right? Everybody at that time thought, okay, my Ghoda Gadi job is gone because steam engine is there. Did people lose jobs? Yes, people lose jobs, but then they had to upgrade themselves to become a steam engine operator. A lot of economic opportunities were created. The second industrial revolution happened when the automobile was launched. Like cars were there. People thought, okay, my jobs are risk. Did that happen? No. The third revolution happened with the internet. The advent when people thought that okay, oh, every person in the bank thought, okay, my job is gone. I think the banks are employing more people compared to before. The fourth industrial revolution happened with the AI. People are still thinking that okay, my jobs are gone, and I can bet you money that okay, 10 years down the line, when the AI is at the full swing, there will be more jobs because of the AI. It just people need to reconfigure themselves, retool themselves to suit the latest trend which is going on. If you are trying to live by the skill set of 20 years back, 2 decades back into the current environment, probably that will not work. There will be anxiety. But if you can see okay, what is coming, then you can retool yourself and then make the most out of the things which are coming in. Now, the big picture aspect of AI or all this industrial revolution is that these things have led to productivity into the economy. Right? Economies are becoming productive by 1%, 1.5% every year. And that's where the economic growth is being very, very high because of productivity. India being a country where a lot of congestion is there, a lot of unproductive inefficiencies are there, these kind of tools are blessing in disguise if we can harness these capabilities. So this is the big picture kind of a thinking that if you are there and talking about something, you need to have that big picture thinking that okay, if some politician is talking about women, why they are talking? Does it make sense, or they're talking some nonsense? To get the message to the common people, you will have to talk differently. But as a chartered accountant aspiring to be a kind of a sitting in a boardroom or sitting in a policy maker kind of environment or advising the clients, as Sanjay mentioned, you need to have that big picture aspect. This is the most critical kind of a thinking for any of the chartered accountant or who loves to pursue the career into the politics. Even as a advisor, big picture thinking, picture aspect is important. Now, fourth skill which is important is storytelling. Can anyone tell me what is the big news we had in the last week on GDP growth? What is the news? What was the GDP growth rate for the last quarter? So we grew by 7.6%, right? GDP growth rate. Now, the art of storytelling starts from after this. If someone tells you, okay, oh, India is growing by 7.6%, and someone sitting like me, so what do I do? And then if someone comes who's good at storytelling and tell you that, okay, India has registered a growth of 7.6% in the last quarter, in an environment where countries like China, they are growing by 4%. Countries like Europe, they are almost into the recession. US, the growth is slowing down. India has managed to grow 7.6%. That means you are telling the people that, yes, we grew faster, we grew better than the rest of the economies, right? And then if you tell the people that, okay, most of the economies outside the world are sort of, flooding the money into the market just like anything, their fiscal deficits are going ballooning, while India is sort of maintaining a good fiscal health. That also tells you that, yes, there is an added context. Telling the people that 7.6% GDP growth rate is nothing. It's just stating the fact. But the art of storytelling is that, okay, what do I do with this information? So in terms of skill, I think the big picture thinking, the storytelling are the skills you need to cultivate. And this is not something anyone can teach you. You need to cultivate by looking around at you, as in why the people are doing what does it mean? If some bells are ringing into my head when I look at something, right? So the skill set is basically, I mean, you guys are good at analyticals. You guys need to cultivate that attention to detail, technical skill, pursue some course, and then big picture thinking and the analytical storytelling is something. These are the must kind of things. The other thing, which is kind of related to storytelling, is developing your brand. Now, Satya was saying that he was given a task where he had to go three months in a room, lock himself, and then he could have despised on himself. Okay, what the kind of job I'm doing? I don't know it, but he used that opportunity to convert into a, use this adversity to convert into an opportunity. He developed a brand out of it, that okay, he is the go-to guy for any kind of a, these kind of a cases, debt reconstruction or account reconciliation. He developed a brand out of it. So maintaining a brand, if someone is whatever, maybe his name is Vinay, and then if someone says, okay, there is an article Vinay in Kalani company, everybody should ring a bell. Okay, oh, Vinay, he is a good at accounting standards, for example. That is your brand. Now you need to know what you're good at and what kind of a brand you can develop for yourself, so that people associate that one quality with you. That if there is anything related to accounting standard, he is the go-to guy. Let me go and ask him. He's on top of everything. He has a lot of background. He has this brand. This is the most intangible skills, Sanjay. We are talking about, okay, there are tangible, intangible. Money, you will get it, but that's separate. Intangible skills, which will going to help you to get that money or more satisfaction or more recognition, more reputation, is basically big picture thinking, being storyteller, and then having a brand. I mean, people come to Sanjay because he's good at litigation. He's good at 25 years back, he went into this, what do you call it, a real estate advisory when nobody was talking about it. And he's a go-to guy today for in terms of any kind of a real estate transaction happening into Jaipur or nearby city. So he made a brand out of it that, okay, he's a go-to guy. So these are the skill set which essentially you would be developing to not just to get a job, but to excel into the job and to fall into the bracket of O rather than the U. Because Remo is a go-to aspiration for the people. Ramu. So that basically, what kind of a skill? I'm not going to tell you that you do this course and that will help you. This is the framework you need to look. You choose your course. There is an internet you can download. If I want to go to the world of the startup, which are the skills are you going to be useful? What is one of the major problem with the startups? Can I do something about it in terms of my knowledge and talk in the interview, so that I am going to be the one person where interviewer thinks, okay, he has done some work, right? Whenever the interviewers are interviewing the young guys, they are not coming with the expectation that, okay, he needs to be a rock star. The problem solving attitude and the optimism which they see you in you is basically for them, is the criteria for them to select or to consider. So these skills come very, very handy. And believe me, there are, out of the 100, there are not even one person on an average who has this big picture thinking and the good storyteller. Storytelling ability is probably the most under cultivated trait or skill, especially into the chartered accountants. Chartered accountants are to the point, focused. This is the number, this is the tax calculation, done. They're good into job. But if you aspire to be into the Remo category, you need to have these. Right? Now, the third question was, this was a pretty straightforward question. Was it, you are in London, you've been in Hong Kong. What is the criteria for us to decide opting Jaipur and outside jobs? There are no easy answers to it. So one thing which comes into this picture is that, okay, everybody has these personal circumstances in terms of family and all the things. So leaving that debate aside, now I'll give you another framework that, okay, how you decide. So think about, you want to be a corporate employee. You want to excel into the corporate world. What would be the ideal place for you to look for a job? Now, how many people know what is the GDP of India in dollars? Indian GDP. I mean, Prime Minister is talking about it every $1 trillion. Okay, so that's basically the thing, the Indian GDP. Now, how many people can tell me the GDP of Rajasthan? How many people can tell me the GDP of Jaipur? So now this is the most important aspect for you to decide whether you want to stay in Jaipur or not. Now, Jaipur has a GDP of $25 billion. Rajasthan has $200 billion. Mumbai alone has a GDP of $400 billion. London has a GDP of $700 billion. Shanghai has a $1 trillion GDP. Now, higher the pie, better the opportunity.
But now we need to also assess that what is AQI level over there.
Yes, that is also important from a health point of view.
So it is not only the GDP.
So if you are looking for that corporate kind of a career, you need to be into that bigger pie because there the opportunity will be bigger. Now, does it mean that okay, Jaipur is good for nothing? No. If you are looking for a self-entrepreneurial kind of an entrepreneurial, self-employed practice or any kind of a thing going into the business, the smaller is the better. Because the chances of $400 billion of GDP in Mumbai going to $800 billion are much lower as compared to $25 billion GDP of Jaipur going to $100 billion in the next 10 years. So the growth is going to be better where the base is low. So if you are looking for setting up a manufacturing facility somewhere in India, then you will consider Jaipur as because the growth is going to be much better, the market size will become better. While if you are trying to be a professional, obviously go to Bombay. This is where the pie is bigger, opportunities are bigger, mentality of the people is bigger, and then challenge is bigger because you need to go. People there have already a kind of a developed sort of a mentality, while you come from a Jaipur mentality, and then you upgrade yourself. So everywhere, what you consider as a metric is the growth, where my growth is going to be better. As a professional, my growth is going to be much better into a society which is $400 billion versus 25. But as an entrepreneur, I'm going much better at $25 billion economy rather than that is what the Sanjay was saying, intangible aspect of the compensation. So I think this should settle the debate versus Jaipur and outside. Now everybody raising the hand. Okay, I want to go outside. No one wants to do anything. And then the fourth was that, which was basically a kind of a auditing of my thing that you have switched jobs multiple times, 4-5 years. I don't know who was that. So, yeah. So it's a very good question in the sense that how do people decide to move into the organization or change the organization? So I think there are 3 points I would say. So whenever you get into a job, there are 3 stages where you go through. One is the learning curve, as in you join the job, you learn, you rise faster. And second is the maturity curve, as in you mature into the job and you start getting a good quality work, starting getting recognition, get paid for it. And the third is the saturation curve. And if there is a time when saturation comes, saturation phase is the one where the challenges are not there, right? So people who are sort of well aware of their own personality and what motivates them, they will find out that, okay, I'm very close to that maturity curve. And if the organization continue to give me challenges, probably it's good time to stay here. Otherwise, I need to find somewhere else because I need to keep myself challenging. So learning curve, everywhere it is the same. It depends on you. Maturity curve generally comes in 3-4 years. And then before people move to the saturation curve, they just tend to move on. So switching, there is no monetary kind of a thing attached to it that, okay, I'm doing a job, I'm getting paid for this much, I'm going to get paid for this much into the next job. No, that probably is not the criteria. It basically where you think you are in terms of that 3-stage curve, learning, maturity, or the saturation, and then you decide before you move to the saturation curve, better to ship out because the person who's going to hire you, they will also be able to assess that, okay, oh, he's very close to saturation curve. I can probably, he's good, but I can bargain him, right? If someone comes with a 30% raise, I can get him the flat. If you are going to be a corporate professional, this is something is going to be very, very important. What is the ideal time for you to challenge yourself, look outside, look inside? I mean, Sundar Pichai probably made a wonderful statement that Google's CEO post was up for grab. I just raised my hand because, and then not that just by raising the hand, he becomes the CEO. Then he challenged himself, okay, can I take the top job? And then the fifth aspect was that career abroad, because all of you have explored my profile and then found out that Mumbai, Hong Kong, Jaipur is the path I have taken. So everybody wants to do that. And then the question was there, how we can make a career abroad. Have you heard the concept of Ikigai? It's a Japanese.
Yes.
Finding the whole. So Ikigai has this core, you make a Venn diagram, what you love, what are your strengths, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. You put all these boxes into a Venn diagram, and they will be a point of optimum match where we should tell you that, okay, you should do this. Now, there are no easy ways to get into a job abroad directly, because for the simple reason that okay, the course which you have done has equipped you for the challenges of this country, right? Now, one of the easiest way of getting into a broad job abroad is that go into foreign university, do the degree there, and directly place yourself into that competition with the foreign student. It's an expensive thing, right? It takes a lot of money. It doesn't come for free. Not many people afford it. Now, what is the other way? If you really are have your ikigai and think that okay, there is something I can offer, or there is something I love in terms of doing, going to the abroad and exploring myself and broadening my horizon. Why these countries become what they are, and why the India is where it is, and what will take India to propel India to become what the developed countries are. If you have found out, then probably you need to target some kind of a profile in the roles where you get that exposure to the global people. You get an opportunity to prove to the people that yes, I have that capability. I have acquired those skills, which actually helps the company to select you for the role outside. So that is the first part of the journey in terms of if you want to work abroad. The second part of the journey begins when you are there, because your skill set which you developed here has helped you to satisfy the requirement of your prospective employer for some period of time. You will soon outlive those skill set. You need to acquire new skill set. That new skill set become that you satisfy the requirement for the market abroad, not here. Now, if I'm sitting here doing an investment job, I know the Indian economy well, and I move to a role in Hong Kong, and then I'm still knowing the Indian economy well. Now that is not going to help me. If I'm not knowing the what market in China is doing, what the market outside of India is doing, that is the second part of my journey in terms of developing my career abroad. That I know if I'm sitting in London, if I don't know what is going on in Europe, what are the economic prospects of the Europe and the US, probably I'm not doing a good justice to my job, and I'm sort of moving into that U category rather than the O category. So first is okay, opportunities will come only when you expose yourself. Like Satya's point, company, put yourself into the company and commit to it. If you are really passionate about working abroad, put yourself into a company where global kind of work is happening, and then you can take a leap from there, and then continuous upgrade, positioning yourself into the local kind of a skill set which are because there you're going to compete with the local guys who are the local skill set and not with the Indian people with the Indian skill set, right? And then last question was that investment banking, how we can get into investment banking. I think Satya has touched upon it, as in how you can go into the investment banking. What I can add additional is that I don't know how many of the people are there in this habit of writing, but this is the most critical habit to cultivate, to perpetuate. Now, how does it play to your strength? So let me give you an example. So if you are passionate about being a stock analyst, for example, equity research stocks where people look at the stocks, analyze the industry, and now give their opinion, give their views that okay, X stock or Reliance Industry stock is going to grow from 2000 to 4000 in the next 5 years because this is what we are thinking. Now, how do you tell the people, the prospective employer, that I am good at it? Right? If the interview is going on, the interviewer will come and ask the question what he has into his mind. Believe me, every employer before coming to the interview, if you have a LinkedIn profile, they will go through your LinkedIn profile. Now, that is your chance to get that hook, to get the interviewer ask you the question which you are good at. If you have done the writing on your Facebook, LinkedIn profile, that means you are already good at it. You have told the employer that this is what I have done. They're going to come and ask the question where you are good at. That is your chance to shine and tell the people that I have right. So it is playing to your strength by writing. And the writing actually helps you to consolidate, concise, and precise your view and put that into the word. When you sit down, think about the today's session, right? If you go home, put your thoughts into the paper, you will struggle. Believe me. Putting the concise message of this session into a one-page LinkedIn post is hell of a task. It's hell of a task.
Sachin करेगा?
And writing comes with practice. It doesn't come overnight. And once you get better at it, If the post is bad, don't delete it. You can use that advantage. See, I started from there. Look at my latest post. I have traveled this journey that shows the people that, okay, you have that thing in terms of continuous learning, you have that passion in terms of improving yourself. Everything what Satya has said into the thing is using the adversity to your opportunity, to your favorable thing is precisely what is the crux of the life is. So writing is important. And how the writing comes? Because reading the chartered accountant modules, books, they don't help you in terms of writing. They help you in terms of problem solving capabilities, analytical mind, which is fantastic. But how do you improve the writing? Reading.
Reading, critical thinking.
Critical thinking, developing that critical thinking. Remember, big picture thinking and the storytelling. Reading will help you in terms of big picture thinking, how other people are thinking. Writing will help you develop that storytelling. And that will probably your gateway to go into the O. Then. So investment banking, if you want to come, write something, or probably no, invest into a stock. You will lose money, make money. That doesn't matter. But if you are sitting in an interview or you have posted that, okay, I recommend or I have a positive view on X and Y stock, and this is only for the people who are aspiring to be investment banking, not for all. If you can answer that, okay, why the stock is going up, what people are looking into this company, that people are buying into it. Once you can answer that question, you just have nailed it. Right? Interviewer come and you had a positive view on science industries. Stock has come down. What went wrong? Then you can use that to your advantage. I thought that people will be valuing their expansion into green hydrogen or any kind of green transition, but then green transition turned out to be head fake. I went wrong. It's okay. Admitting a mistake is perfectly fine. You actually had a view. What is important? I mean, I don't know how many people have listened to MS Dhoni. He says the process is important, not the outcome. Yes. Everybody has listened. So it is the process of you having a view how you have developed. There is a concept into the stock market which I live day in and day out. Okay, what is pricing? Why the people are paying the price? What they are? If I can tell them, okay, Reliance Industry is going to generate $10 billion of free cash flow in the next 5 years, and people are valuing that stock 5 times, and hence the market cap is 50 billion, 100 billion, whatever. That's what the answer people are willing to listen to it. So if you are serious about developing a career in investment banking, remember the opportunity which we had discussed is basically the scale, the economic upgrade. These are the opportunities which falls into that economic upgrade category in terms of investment. If you can answer that thing, that yes, these are the stocks, these are the I mean, I used to. Now, some people have written that, okay, how did you land up a job into the Morgan Stanley, into the investment field? So there's a funny story around it, and Raj is not here, but my family used to be a broker, stock broker. So I used to do a lot of stock broking, and पिताजी जो है मेरे को आके बोलते थे, अरे यार तू बहुत स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग करता है, तेरे को स्टैट्यूटरी क्यों नहीं भेजूंगा, आप इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग कर ले। तो मैं साइन करूंगा तो स्टॉक जाके तू खरीदेगा। Right? So because I had cultivated, because of my background or whatever other reason, I sitting into the interview, I'm telling them the names of the stock which has fallen out of the favor, which are into the favor. And the interviewer is like, okay, you are ready with material. Just come in. So if you have found out that this is what is going to help me stand out, because it is not important what you are doing. It is important what other people are doing and what you are doing to stay ahead of the competition. You just don't need to be better. You need to be better than others. You don't need to be best. Just need to be better than your competition. Competition may be your next door. Competition may be in another city, another country. So investment banking, writing, and reading, these probably are the 2 things which are going to help you. Huge amount of opportunities are there. Investment banking, you can be a stock analyst, you can be a fund manager, you can be a plain analyst, you can be into a trade and treasury solutions. Somebody has written How can I get job in city? Who was that? Huh? Naveen.
Not here. City से बाहर चल.
So I think that the crux of all these questions was that there is a lot of thinking process which has gone into your questions, which I'm amazed that being at an institution like Kalani Company. And the one thing I always say to that, if you want to take an inspiration, you don't need to look outside. You just need to look into the Kalani Company. People sitting here, they have done is they have developed their niche. If you talk, okay, who is the go-to guy for taxation? Or Jagdish Sumani Parwal Sahab? Who is the go-to person for GST? Viren Paliwal Sahab to have Virendra Pawar, who is the go-to guy for auditing. Raji. So these guys have developed that niche, and you are looking at them in and out every day. You just need to observe and understand and learn that why these guys are so good at it. So they're just relentlessly doing it, and getting better at it. I can share another example where transferred us in tech audit. So I was the audit senior there. KL Jawar Sahab has come, and then there was JK, who was the vice president there, finance. So we are there sitting discussing the audit. KL Jawar Sahab calling me, "Arey aaja." So I went inside, and then with my audit file, he did not look at it, the audit file. The first thing he said is, "अरे तेरा वो छोटा वाला कहाँ है? उसको तो लेकर आ." And then that हम मेरे को साथ में लेके नहीं बिठाते तो तू सीखता कैसे? तू उसको नहीं लेके बैठेगा तो वो कैसे सीखेगा? The skill set which you develop, you don't develop for yourself. You transfer it. That's the beauty about Kalani Company, is that all these people sitting at there, they are constantly transferring those skill set into you. Now it is up to you whether you are actively processing those skill set into your mind or not. Because passively you have it there, right? But actively, have you thought about it, that why Sanjay is what he is? I mean, he was the son of one of the best practitioners in the India, right? He did not choose that path to join his father's company. He set up his own practice, went for the law, like out of the box. Now, why these people are so courageous to take that risk? Because they are not thinking about money. They are confident that if we are doing the right thing, we are doing the best way, or the better than others, people will come to us. So that's it.
So far as this online class.
And for all of you who are sort of interested into this, big picture thinking, storytelling, this is a book which I recommend to everyone. This is written by Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. It is probably the most